Oh hey, it's Wes. And as you might have noticed already, today we're going to be talking about the Zeapon Micro 2 slider. Now during that intro you might have seen some very smooth shots, maybe even shots that appeared to be sliding, if you will. How did I accomplish that? Did they send me 2 of these? No, they did not. Let's have a look at what happened for the intro. So the Zeapon 2 slider is a compact, easily travelable camera slider. This interesting design gives you locking buttons on the side to keep it in place while you're traveling. Slightly modular in that there is a separate foot piece called the Easy Lock 2 base. They can either come with it or without it. We'll talk about pricing a little bit later. And due to this dual-tiered design, we can slide this a full 21 inches, which is quite a bit more distance than other sliders of this size. What I'm thinking mostly of is the Edelkrone Slider 1 V2, which is only a tiny bit smaller than this, although it is motorized, which is lovely. It only has 7.9 inches of travel. So here you get a very compact kit that lets you slide a lot further, but it is manual. So let's talk about how this works. I don't have a rating system for sliders, especially for this one, because there is so little to talk about here. For something like this, it kind of either works or it doesn't. Build quality, as I always talk about first, appears to be very solid on this. I've been using this for a few days, and although I haven't dropped it yet, which is honestly kind of rare for stuff I'm reviewing, it is an all-metal design. The only thing that concerns me at all is the belt that drives and controls through the middle. Although I doubt there's an awful lot of tension on this belt, because you are supposed to be sliding this slowly, not aggressively and quickly. So I don't think that the reliability of that is going to be any concern. It appears to be a high quality belt. The bearings are excellent, liquid damped, and the motion, as you saw at the beginning of the video, is very smooth. Let's take off the Easy Lock base here for a moment and talk about the accessories that we get with this. Similar to the Zeapon itself, this is an all-metal design. It is very easy to use, folds up very small, has little rubber feet, and if you're on uneven ground, as is pretty typical for this sort of thing, you can unscrew the feet a little bit to change the height ever so subtly. Now, obviously what I'm on here is a composite slab, and it is extremely flat, so that works well for me. Also included is a convenient little Arca Swiss plate, which I love. I love things that are Arca Swiss. And there is a little ball head to mount your camera on. As far as little ball heads go, yes, this one is quite nice. However, when it comes to being super stable and kind of making sure things are as smooth as possible, this ball head, it does not cut it. If you're going to be doing this to make the most of the system, this is not going to be enough. You're going to want some sort of a fluid pan, an actual video head to snap on top of this. Now, as far as weight concerns go, that shouldn't be a problem. This has a weight rating of 8 kilograms or 17.6 pounds. That's a lot. So getting an extra video head that you might already have and slapping it on top of this, that would be a great idea. This adds a little bit of wobble and a little bit of uncertainty, because once you get your camera on top of it, it's hard to adjust. I don't want to go on about that. This is a pretty minor part of this build. Included in the base here, it actually has the Allen key tool for tightening all the knobs on this. I love little hidden tools and things. I know, maybe I'm a nerd, some things please me more than they should. And the base itself, in case you already have it mounted to your slider, you don't want to take it off to mount it on a tripod, there is actually a built-in Arca Swiss plate in the bottom of this. So that's super convenient. So you can screw that in to tighten it down, unscrew it to pull it back out again. And then, once again, this folds back up super flat. There we go. So that's convenient, and I also love how it fits in the carry bag that comes with the slider. So it is a very well thought out experience in total. Something that I didn't think about was that when I mount this on one of my tripods, as you can see filming Baby Groot here, my tripods were not ready for this slider. Although my tripods are great for vibration and just general camera stabilization, as soon as I step outside of that and put this slider on, the tripod legs, they twist like spaghetti, the whole thing wiggles, and the whole top end of the tripod. I mean, this isn't a super cheap tripod, this is a Manfrotto carbon fiber. On any of my other tripods, the story's about the same. If I pull the neck out, oh boy, we're completely game over here. So if you're gonna mount this on a tripod, if that's your plan, you're going to need a full-on video tripod, the ones with the double-sized legs that are super, super stable. A regular photography tripod really isn't adequate to handle something like this. Now, other manual sliders, they'll actually have a kit designed to hook to a tripod on each end, and that will keep things much more stable. But this one, that's designed for a center mount, you really need a super beefy tripod to make the most of this. So when I was making the intro video, I used the base plate on this super hard slab, and obviously that gave me all the stability that I needed, because apparently my tripods are not good enough for this. So what are the downsides of this slider? You know I'm not going to talk about something without finding at least a nitpick. Because insofar as what it is very well designed, a very considered design that does what it does well. So obviously the limitation of this is it's still just a manual slider. It's a very well made compact manual slider, but you still have to use your hands to push it along. And even though it's taking a lot of the work out of it for you, you still have to be careful not to bump it and to push it along at an even pace. If you don't push it along at a super even pace, you can make this look a little bit janky with your footage. So this isn't taking all the responsibility out of your hands. You still need to have a steady hand to work this well. Additionally, as far as manual sliders go, this is kind of on the pricey side. Now, it might not be as well known a name brand as, say, Benro or Edelkrone. Everyone knows those names, well, anyone in this sort of game. But this is Zeapon. So you kind of expect it to come in at a cheaper price, but you're paying for a more compact, convenient experience. And so there are some trade-offs. Number one being, this is actually surprisingly heavy for its size. We're talking 1.1 kilograms or 2.2 pounds, which isn't a lot at the end of the day, but for its size, it's kind of beefy. And if we compare prices, as I often do, up here, this thing comes in at $229 US. The Easy Lock base is $99 on its own. That's a lot of money. Now I can see how this costs $99. It is very nice machined metal. It is a nice thing, but that's a lot of money for a little base. Now if you get them together, which I highly recommend, unless you have an amazing tripod and some other way of mounting this already, they're kind of a package deal. Together, it's $299. So I kind of consider the whole product to be that price, even though, yes, they are technically separate products. You have the Easy Lock base with the ball head and the slider itself. There are other manual sliders that you can get for a lot less, like the cheap Rev slider that, honestly, it has terrible reviews, but you can get a big old slider for $99. But what's the point of getting a slider if it's not really going to give you smooth footage? So if we go up to the Axler 30-inch carbon fiber, that's $150, and the Benro Move Over carbon fiber for 260 bucks. Those will each give you over 30 inches of travel, so it's more travel. They're also a lot bigger, but they cost less than this. So again, you're paying for a compact experience and kind of a unique design. And then, obviously the elephant in the room is, how much do you have to pay to actually get a motorized slider that will do this job for you? That's when you're moving up to something like the GVM or the Edelkrone. The GVM, it's a big old 30-inch slider. Honestly, not that great quality. The reviews are mediocre at best because you're paying not a lot of money for a motorized product. So you get something at the bottom of the line. Obviously, it's not going to be a solid product. That's $340. So just a little bit more than this will get you basic motorization. But then there's the Edelkrone, the Slider 1 V2. Super slick, app controlled, very convenient, even smaller than this, for 500 bucks. Yeah, that is a fair amount more, but it's not way out of the ballpark. However, its Achilles heel is you're only looking at 7.9 inches of travel. That's... For small stuff, yeah, that might be fine, but for anything else, that is incredibly small amount of travel. Whereas this guy, you get way more. You have almost 3 times as much travel due to this super interesting dual stage design. So honestly, it's hard for me to say if this is a good price or not, because it's kind of creating its own little niche category, which is great. I love it when products do that. That makes this a super interesting product. So honestly, by now, you probably already know whether or not this thing is for you. I have some affiliate links down in the description. If you purchase down there, it'll help support this channel and feed my family. Both of those things are great. So this may or may not be for you. That's fine. Honestly, most of my opening sequence shots are just done turning a camera on a cheap tripod head. But if you want to step it up, but you don't want to take up a ton of space, this is a great choice. Let me know what you think about this down in the comments, and if you think that there are way better options than something in this form factor. So, until next time, go take some videos.